Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of If You Have to Pick 3, a podcast where we have to pick our top 3 choices of any given topic. After we each share our nominations, we then have to come to an agreement on a final top 3. I'm Zach Shaw.
I'm Matt Gamba.
And tell us a little bit about what we have to pick this episode.
All right, so this one is a very interesting episode. Normally we would pick songs, bands, things like that. We wanted to go a little bit off the beaten path on this one because both Zach and myself love going to concerts, love talking about rock. Obviously, why we have a podcast talking about all this stuff. But we also have things that we've collected over the years.
Much to the chagrin of our wives.
Yes. Oh, man. If I come home with another poster, I think she might kill me. I have T-shirts all over the place and albums all over the place. But we wanted to really dive into our collections and talk about what are our top 3 pieces of memorabilia. So we're going to do this just a little bit differently this time because obviously I can't say that, oh, well, mine should be in the list because of this reason and Zach's going to argue the same thing. No, what we're going to do is Zach is going to pick his favorite of mine. I'm going to pick my favorite of his. And then we just kind of talk about the rest of it, and we're going to come to an agreement on just one of them.
Yeah, because we don't want to make it a heated debate.
Right. Yes, that'd be great for ratings, great for everything. But you know what? I want to continue to do a podcast with my friend. So we're going to keep it.
I'm indifferent.
You're special. A lot of people have told you that.
My parents have told me that. My wife has told me that. The government has told me that. Well, no, because and also something that I kind of want to touch upon is what makes a piece of memorabilia really cool is the story behind it. There's always going to be something cool, like a moment that you attach yourself, something personal to that item that makes it genuinely a really cool thing. So that's hard to measure because someone's personal attachment, you can't really rank that. So when it comes to that final spot, we just have to kind of be a little honest and just kind of be, just come to like, all right, that really is the coolest.
Right.
Without getting too down the rabbit hole that we've gone in the past.
Okay.
With that said, Matt, go ahead and go first.
All right. So for my first one, let's see, which one do I want to do first? Okay, we'll do this one first. Because you knew that this one was going to be on the list because this is just one of the coolest things that's ever happened, and it happened by chance.
Oh, I'm already going to say veto on this one, but go ahead. And you'll find out why in a minute.
Okay. So we went to go see 311 a couple summers ago, and lo and behold to me, I've never seen 311 before. And by the way, great show. All the times I've seen them since, I think it's been 3 or 4 times since. They're amazing. If you haven't seen them, go see 311. Even if you don't know all their music, just go see 311. But I didn't know that they actually had posters at their shows. So Zach was talking to me about it and telling me, and he actually liked the artist that was doing the poster down in Asbury Park, Jay Adler, great artist. He's actually a really cool guy. If you want to follow him on Instagram, he responds and he's just a really cool guy. He's also got his own podcast, but I digress. But he did the poster, and it's really, really cool. And we're gonna put these up on Instagram and all of the social deets. So make sure that you're just following us to see what these things actually look like. But it's really cool. It's right on the beach. There's a giant wave, and one of the famous Asbury Park hotels is in the background. If you're from New Jersey, you get it. It's an amazing poster. But what made it even more amazing is that 112 of these posters were autographed. So me, being me, I went up to, the merch booth, and I wanted to get a poster because it was really cool. And then the guy pulls the poster out of the pile, and he goes, "Oh, dude, like what?" I'm like, "Dude, did you not have any more? Like, is it ripped? Like, what's going on?" He's like, some asshole scribbled all over this one. I hope you don't mind. It's like, wait, what? And lo and behold, I got an autographed copy from the show. It was really cool. And I got it framed the whole 9. It looks really awesome. And then the part that Zach is going to veto is my second autographed 311 poster, because they announced after the summer tour that they were coming back in October around my birthday. So we decided to go to that show, and I wanted to get a poster. That one, I was, on the fence about getting another poster. I was like, all right, maybe I'll get it. But then I went up to the merch table, and the guy, once again, pulled out the poster and was like, oh man, you're lucky. I'm like, no, not again. And he pulled the second, 2 out of 2 autographed posters from 311. So my first one is my encompassment of my 311 autograph posters.
I don't mean to interrupt, but you only told you're missing a really key ingredient to that story.
You'd fill somebody in.
So first,
go ahead.
Now, first, let me preface by saying my wife, Jen, is an enormous 311 fan, and she still doesn't let me live down this particular moment. What happened so the first time, oh, that's awesome, good for you, buddy, best friends, cool, like awesome stuff. Especially because we had, already had the poster that I ordered online because we got the lithograms. Like, cool, go for it, you got it autographed. The second time, we're in line. I was actually in front of Matt in line at the merch about to get the poster. But me being a gentleman and being a nice guy, I don't even know why I did this.
I don't even know how it happened.
I don't even know how it happened. I'm like, oh, you know what? Go ahead, Matt. Because you know what it was? I think it was one of those, we're still deciding whether or not we wanted to get something else in addition to the poster.
Yeah. It might have been.
So we're still looking. I'm like, oh, you know what, Matt? Go in front. I'm still figuring out what I want. And wouldn't you know it, that's the poster that he got. So you're welcome.
Okay, so let me just say this as well.
You're welcome.
He could have stuck his hand anywhere in the pile for a poster pull for me or a poster pull for you. It just so happened that in where he stuck his hand in that pile, he pulled out that poster for me at that time. It might not have been the same one for you.
All I know is that Jen has never let me live it down. So that's why it's shame on you. Trying to make my wife happy.
All right.
But no, that is also just really cool, especially the fact that it just happened twice.
Right. Exactly. I mean, I don't win anything. Awesome. I never win this. And just a quick aside, the only things that I have ever won in my life completely by random chance were these 311 posters and an Xbox One X from Taco Bell. Completely random. Just sitting there eating my taco, and I was like, does anybody really win these things? Like the codes on the boxes? So I tried it, and then it's asking me for my address, and I'm like, why are you asking me for my address for a taco? They're like, oh, congratulations, you've won an Xbox One X. I'm like, wait, what?
So that's your second item?
No.
So what's your second item?
All right, my second item. Okay, so I'm going to say this this way. I really wish that this wasn't a thing that I could have gotten.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's kind of spooky.
It's only spooky because it has to deal with Lemmy and Motorhead. So shortly after Lemmy passed in 2015, coming upon the 3-year anniversary very quickly.
Jeez.
I know.
Wow.
So shortly after Lemmy passed away, Jack Daniels decided that they had these casks specifically for people. So the really high-end Jack Daniels, people can select the casks and things like that. And Lemmy kept Jack Daniels in business for years. So what they ended up doing was they ended up releasing a limited run of Motorhead Jack Daniels. I believe it's the Gentleman Jack Single Barrel series, if I'm correct. I don't remember the label on the bottle, but it's upstairs. I don't feel like going to look. But
hashtag research.
Yes, hashtag do research. But my wife, I was telling her about this, and it was right around Christmas. So for Christmas, I thought she was insane because first off, if a bottle of alcohol is over $50, I'm kind of like, do I really want to get it? That's why I still haven't gotten the Metallica whiskey yet.
Oh, blackened whiskey.
Yeah, just because it's expensive. Yeah. But she got it for me. Hashtag great wife. Why the fuck are we using so many hashtags? Anyway.
Hashtag, what's the hashtags?
But she got it for me, and it's just you would never know it unless Jack Daniels put a special placard around the top of it, and it says specially reserved for, and then it's got the Motorhead logo, and it says Motorhead, and it's just really cool.
That is really cool.
So that's my second one.
That is really, really cool.
And my last piece of memorabilia actually is a collection of all things memorabilia that I have. No, I'm not copying out. This is a single entity. It is my ticket book from all of the concerts that I've ever been to. So
That's cool.
When I was probably about 14 or 15, I always thought I'd want to look back and start, seeing what shows I went to and how much my music tastes have evolved and changed over the years. And when you're back in high school, you see some things because, you're dating people at the time, and it's like, why the hell did I ever want to go to see that? Mm-hmm. Keep in mind, this is at a time when, the Backstreet Boys were popular, so...
I would totally see the Backstreet Boys currently. It's funny because Jen loves the Backstreet Boys, and she would joke, oh, you don't have to go. I'm like, I actually wouldn't mind seeing that. But sorry, continue.
Nostalgia is a hell of a drug.
Yeah.
But, so there was that, and then I had another ticket in there from early on when I didn't have a lot of money. For Madonna, for a show that got canceled. Never got a chance to see Madonna, but I don't think I'd want to go see her anymore anyway. But since then, I've redeemed myself, and I've seen a lot of different shows. Metallica, 5 or 6 times. The Foo Fighters, Opeth, the Chili Peppers. I have 2 tickets from Rammstein. One is from Madison Square Garden the second time they came back around. The first one is from the first time they were here, and it's the gigantic black ticket where the Statue of Liberty is on fire. So for the first show back in the United States in, was it a decade or something like that at that point? I had that ticket in there. I've got, going back to Metallica, I've got my bracelet from the floor of Madison Square Garden. I've probably got 3/4 of this book filled with just different random tickets. So it's really just a culmination of everything that I've collected over the years. And now I'm able to go back and look at it. So if you haven't started a ticket book yet, and granted, it's getting harder with e-tickets.
I was just about to say that too. It's the downside of what's currently going on.
Right, exactly. With all the e-tickets and having to print tickets out from your printer at home. It's really a downer because now you got to pay an extra couple of bucks to get a real stub. But be that as it may, I mean, just to see the shows that you've gone to and to see how much that you can look back on and just remember, at that show, I remember they played this song and they haven't played it, since then. And, this is the first time that Metallica played Sanitarium and, that I saw them do it live. It's just really cool to be able to go back.
It's bringing me back to memories also. My mom actually, because I have one booklet of more recent tickets,
right,
and just passes and everything that I've collected. But while I was in college, my mom actually created a little booklet for me as well of all my tickets. And of course, my mom being my mom, she even went overboard in adding printout photos of Ozzy in it and photos of Metallica. Cool, but it's true though. It's something special to be able to look through and just vividly remember those shows. There's a lot of strong sentiment to that.
All right.
I think.
So, do you want to say what your favorite one of mine is right now, or do you want to go?
I'm going to go.
Okay.
And then we'll exchange and go from there.
Okay.
The first one I'm going to go with, kind of going to the concert theme. Mm-hmm. Actually, all of mine are concert. Well, all of them mostly concert themes. My Big Four Yankee Stadium shirt.
Okay.
So I was very fortunate to get to see the Big Four, Slayer, Metallica, Megadeth, Anthrax, perform what ended up becoming the final Big Four series of shows at Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. And what's cool about those shows in general is, because I think U.S. was actually the only country that had them perform together twice.
I think you're right.
In California and then in the Bronx. But at each, so like when they performed in Sweden, when they performed in Italy, at each of those concerts, they sold a shirt that had like the guitar pick on the front with the big 4 in it and like the logo in it. Mm-hmm. But then each pick was essentially an outline of the country's flag that they were in.
Right.
So my shirt has the American flag with it. And then, of course, also on the back is all the band's logos. Mm-hmm. Now, all the band's logos being on the back of the shirt is already kind of cool because if you think about it, like going back the last 10 years, bands really stopped. Like there's always like combo tours of like bands performing with each other and co-headlining tours, but they've really stopped making shirts with both bands on it at concerts. And there's a few shows that still do it, but for the most part, it's this headliner has their own merch, even of all the tour dates, and then this band has their own merch with all the same tour dates on it, but just their logo.
Or you just get it from the guy in the parking lot.
You just get it from the guy in the parking lot. That's not the same. But like there's something special about that. But then also kind of knowing that like I remember when I was in Spain, back during college and walking around in a foreign country and suddenly seeing a guy wearing a Big 4 shirt with with Sweden's flag on it, and kind of just being like, wow, that guy was at the Sweden show. Like something about, because you can only get these shirts. Like it wasn't like you went to the Bronx show and you were able to pick out the Italian flag one. Right. Like that was specifically for that show. So I just always thought that was kind of special. And that's probably one of my most pride shirts that I have from concerts. Okay. The second one, this one requires a lot of backstory, but it is a small piece of paper flyer promoting a show that never happened. Okay. The show in question is Guns N' Roses in 2002. Now, a little backstory first. I was at the famous Guns N' Roses show on December 6, 2002. It was the First Union Center. Now it's the Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia. So this was, I believe, the third show on that tour, the first Chinese Democracy tour. Okay. And it was already off to a rough start because 2 nights before they didn't show up in Vancouver, or a few nights before they didn't show up to Vancouver, the tour start. So it was already like off to a rocky start, but they had just played Madison Square Garden, sold out, went great, supposedly. So I'm at Philadelphia, and as everyone's waiting for Guns N' Roses to show up, spoiler alert, they never did. The arena was starting to hand out these little flyers because what happened was the Philadelphia show at the First Union sold out. So they were quick for a few nights later to add a second show to what was the Spectrum. It's now gone. So first they were going to play the First Union, and then they were going to play the Spectrum, which is a slightly smaller arena. But it was right across the street from the First Union. But needless to say, that show was not doing so well. So they were literally handing out flyers promoting that there was a $10 ticket sale for the second show. Wow. So anyone who was in the arena, it's like, hey, for $10, you can see Guns N' Roses again a few nights later. Join us again on Sunday night. Wow. Now, that was cool. You kind of they had the Chinese Democracy like font on it and everything. But again, spoiler alert, Guns N' Roses never showed up. And it ended up canceling the entire tour. So the second show also obviously never happened. Right. And to me, I always thought it was just so cool because it was one of those flyers. I mean, I'm sure there's like at least, maybe there was definitely 100 made, but like how many people actually still have it? I don't know. I'm sure, it's not that rare, but at the same time, it's just one of those cool things I always loved having because it was from the night of. It also it really encompassed the disaster that was the Chinese Democracy tour, right. That was and the Guns band at the time. Like it really just, so it's just one of those, even like it literally is a piece of trash that has cool value to it. Mm-hmm. Not that it's never going to be worth millions, but so it's just a part of Guns N' Roses history in a sense. So I've always been proud of that. So that was my second one. Okay. The third one, this one I think I'm a little proud in. It's a guitar pick that Paul Stanley threw into the crowd during Kiss's performance on The Tonight Show.
That's cool.
A little fun backstory to this too. Now, I should also preface this, I like Kiss. I'm not a huge fan of Kiss, but I had the chance to go to a taping of Kiss's performance on The Tonight Show. Jimmy Fallon was only 2 months into the gig, but what was cool was that they had the actual studio where The Tonight Show was filmed, but then right down the hall is where they used to film Late Night with Jimmy Fallon. And it was still in between, like Jimmy Fallon had just transitioned, so they didn't have anyone occupying that studio space. So they actually converted that studio into a mini Kiss stage. And when you watch it on TV, it looks like it's a massive like arena that they're playing in. When really it's a tiny, tiny, tiny studio that I don't think more than 30 people were in the crowd. And when I say that 30 people were in the crowd, I'm talking about me, members of the Roots, and Nicolas Cage, who was the first guest on that evening show. And they performed one song for TV, and then they performed 4 other songs off air. I think they ended up using one other song for like an online exclusive, but it was essentially a mini Kiss concert. That's why, like, as much as like, it's kind of, Kiss is saying farewell. You got to see them one more time. Like, you know what? If I never see Kiss live, it's okay, because I got to see a mini Kiss show from 10 feet away. So, of course, Kiss is like, they always have overproduced guitar picks that they just throw into the crowd. At one funny point, though, they actually had Paul Stanley, Paul Stanley was on stage. The band's waiting for Jimmy Fallon to introduce them on air. And Jimmy Fallon's in the studio, but then suddenly Paul Stanley just decides to start throwing guitar picks at Jimmy Fallon. So he's just like chucking that, and Jimmy Fallon's like, stop it. And he's like got one of their vinyls, and he's like blocking each pick. It's like, Paul, please, no. Like they're all having fun. But so I don't have proof that the guitar pick that I have was one that he actually even played with. I know he touched it. And what's cool about this pick is that on one side, it has like printed on it Paul Stanley's signature and the Kiss logo.
Okay. On
the other side, it actually has Rock and Roll HOF 2014 in Kiss font. Now, what's really cool about that performance, not to gloat, but what's cool about that performance is it was the same week of them getting inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
And because Gene and Paul made a huge stink about how it was just the 4 original members getting inducted, while all 4 original members were there, they weren't in makeup, and the band didn't perform a song. In fact, I don't think any Kiss song was performed. So this Tonight Show performance was actually Kiss's like induction ceremony performance. Mm-hmm. So while I have a lot of friends who are at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction ceremony because it was in Brooklyn, I actually got to see Kiss perform the week of their induction. So even though I'm not a huge Kiss fan, even just to like have witnessed that,
right?
I always found really cool.
Nice. Okay.
So we laid it all on the line now. Do you want to, since you went first, let me pick one that I think is the coolest.
Okay.
I was sort of inclined to go with the 311 posters. Mm-hmm. Even though I'm still very sore about that. Okay. I'm going to go with the Lemmy Jack Daniels bottle.
Yeah.
I think, well, a lot of things there, because I think I love that it was a gift from Steph, your wife. Mm-hmm. So there's the personal attachment there. But it is also really cool that I think it's a testament to Lemmy's influence on music, that Jack Daniels recognized his role, that they honored him with a bottle like that.
And it's not even that it was just a bottle. It was
no, you're right. It was like
it's literally what I doubt Lemmy hand-picked it.
Of course, yeah.
But I mean,
he would have been happy with any Jack Daniels bottle.
Right, but to specifically say, hey, this is from Motorhead.
Yeah.
And then now what do we do?
Yeah, because it's not like some mom and pop brand either. We're talking about one of the biggest brands of alcohol.
Right, exactly.
There. So I think from a history standpoint, like everything about that, I think is just really cool and moving. I mean, the tickets I can totally relate to, don't get me wrong. And I think everyone who hasn't made a booklet of their ticket stubs yet really needs to.
Oh yeah, that's one of the easiest projects for anybody. I mean, I'm lazy, but that requires no effort.
Yeah, but I would. So my pick would be the Lemmy Jack Daniels bottle.
Okay, and let's see from your collection. T-shirts are cool.
Can I make unless if you're really actually gonna pick this one?
No, I wasn't gonna pick the T-shirt.
I'm gonna take that one off the table.
Yeah, no.
It's cool, but
it's a T-shirt.
Yeah.
And a lot of people still probably have that T-shirt. And,
absolutely.
And people still vividly remember the Big Four and would love to see it happen again. Although it's not.
It's not gonna happen. Nor do I really want it to, because so I can keep gloating that I saw the last Big Four performance.
Right. The Kiss thing with the picks, I mean, that's pretty cool. I can attest to how hard it is to get a pick at a show.
Yeah.
And to, say it's from Paul Stanley, as much as I don't like Kiss for other reasons that are for a whole nother podcast, it is still cool to get a pick, especially one that says Hall of Fame. Because they're clearly leftovers from when they didn't perform.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. I think because that one, it's very clear when that came from. That's what I always found so cool about that one.
Yeah. I'm going to go with the flyer from Guns N' Roses.
Really?
Yeah. The reason why is I kind of have a similar memory with Guns N' Roses for a completely different reason. When the whole Dr. Pepper thing happened with Chinese Democracy, you could sign up on the website. If they ever put out Chinese Democracy, everybody would get a bottle of Dr. Pepper. Well, I got the coupon for the Dr. Pepper, but I never cashed it in. But now I have a great story to tell anybody who doesn't know about that. And now I feel...
I'm actually really jealous of that. That's really cool.
What, the
you
coupon?
got the Dr. Pepper. You still have it.
Yeah, I have the coupon.
Yeah, that you still have the coupon.
In my ticket book, actually.
That's really cool.
So I would say that, yeah, to me, having a story behind something that seems so insignificant at the time that turns out to be a bigger deal in the end.
Yeah.
Because if you really wanted to have a pic printed up that said Hall of Fame 2014 Kiss in their fonts and whatnot, you could do that. But a little innate piece of paper that's like, oh, okay, this is a show that could be happening. I could buy something for $10, go see them again. But then the massive story around the failure of that tour, I feel like that's a big thing.
So you'd pick that one.
I would pick that one.
I kind of want to defend the guitar pick a little bit.
Okay.
Because I would also agree. There's a story. So it's funny, as we're talking about just guitar picks, another story regarding guitar picks came to mind. If you don't mind me sharing.
Yeah, go ahead.
So this is 2010, I want to believe. Yeah, fall 2010. I was in school, in college, and it was Rob Zombie and Alice Cooper performing in the DCU Center.
Mm-hmm.
You know how much I love Alice Cooper.
Yes.
Love Alice Cooper. So Rob Zombie's off stage. I'm leaving. And suddenly, as I'm leaving to head toward a cab, I bump into my friend Jake. And also from college. I'm like, dude, what are you doing here? And it's like he's going in the wrong direction as what you're supposed to be going into in his concert. It's like, right. Oh, dude, I'm in the cleanup crew. Just a little extra cash. There's an event here, so I'm helping clean up. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. Yeah, cool. All right, I'll see you in class tomorrow. Fast forward to class the next day. He comes in, or maybe it was like a day or two later. He comes into class, and in one hand, he has a guitar pick from Alice Cooper's guitarist, Damian Johnson, at the time. Mm-hmm. It was actually either Damian or Roxy. Unfortunately, that part of it kind of faded a little bit. Mm. And on the other hand, he had one from Piggy, who was bassist from Rob Zombie, guitar pick. Mm-hmm. But he had made necklaces out of each one.
That's cool.
He was like, dude, so as I was cleaning up, found these guitar picks that were thrown into the crowd. So I made you this Alice Cooper one, and I made the Rob Zombie one for me. And I'm like, oh, that's all. And like we were jokes like, let's make them touch and make them see what superpowers we get. And everyone's like, this is awkward. I'm like, what? Because like they were also really short necklaces, so it looked like we were necking in the middle of class. But to me, it was actually less about, oh wow, the guitarist touched this pick, as here is a friend who didn't have to even pick up the guitar pick, let alone make a necklace out of it for me. Went the extra mile to like get something that he figured I'd appreciate. And I still have,
that's really
and
cool.
I still have it to this day. I don't really wear it as much because it's a little tight. I'm getting fatter. And my neck is just exploding and I'm a blob of fat over here. But no, I still have it though. And it's just one of those, it's a lime green guitar pick from, like it has Alice Cooper's face print on one side and the a printed autograph of the other guitarist on the other side. That part's kind of faded a little bit, but again, it's just, but that goes back to, again, it's not so much the artist's attachment even, it's like the story behind it.
Right.
And whether it's, this is, connected to a really pivotal point in the band's career to, there's just a personal attachment to it.
Yeah. That's fair enough.
Yeah. But yeah, we're going to share pictures. I know we can only describe what we just all said so much, but we'll share pictures on our social media. But so now I digress though. We each picked one of ours. Is there one item for the final three? So going back to what we've been saying about the story,
right,
plus the personal connection to it, even though it's caused a lot of stress between me and my wife,
okay,
I would say having the 311 posters occupy that final spot.
Okay,
I'd be okay with that.
Okay, that's I would,
because that's also just a fun story. That really is a fun story that I love hearing you tell people to that, just so I can be a jerk and be like, yeah, because I let him.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you're that inclined to put those in there, I'm not gonna fight you on it. I mean,
I think the guitar pick is really, really cool, but I think the posters is just a really fun story.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna say, I'm gonna agree with you because it's a story that involves both of us.
Aww.
Yeah.
Actually, that is cute.
Aww.
Yeah. Aww.
Well, join us next time.
Well, real quick recap though. Yeah. So the final three of this episode is the 311 autograph posters.
And then it's your flyer from the Guns N' Roses show that never happened.
And then it's also the Jack Daniels bottle in honor of Motorhead and Lemmy.
Yes.
Now, like I said, go to our socials, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, to actually see photos of all the items, even the ones that we didn't end up including in our top three, our individual top threes. Because I want to see that Dr. Pepper coupon. I don't even think I was able to get one.
Yeah, I'll show you.
So go to our socials to actually see what the items we're talking about are, and then join us next time for another episode of If You Have to Pick Three.
All right, guys, take it easy. See you later.